I'm guaranteed to give you all what you need.
Yeah. Check. 1, 2.
We are back. All in Check podcast. I'm your girl, StaceFresh.
And I'm ARS. This is episode 6.
Yeah.
So what are we going to name this episode?
Don't believe the hype.
What?
Yeah.
That's all we do these days. We just believe the hype.
Yup. We sure do.
Got to stop buying that bullshit they selling you, bruh.
Basically, we just thought up of this episode because of the whole Kanye West rant that was going on.
It was actually crazy because I told Stace about the topic way before that happened. Then that happened, and then all kinds of events started happening, and we're like, what?
This that ties into it.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how it happened. So go ahead.
So we took a break last week. So, this Kanye West story has, it's probably
it's
old
probably
news
dying
to
out,
you guys now, but we're gonna bring it back up.
I know a lot of people are upset with Kanye, but this is his thing. This is what he does, and I don't know why everyone acts so surprised or they're so threatened by his actions. I understand what his way of thinking and the way he's approaching things and how he's talking and the lives he's he's disrupting a lot of people's lives by his actions and what he's saying. But I'm not surprised by his stunts at all. I'm not shocked. I'm not surprised. Like I said, it doesn't. He's doing what he's doing because he's doing exactly what he wants to do. And I don't know. I guess it's freedom of speech, I guess you could say. I'm not gonna sit there and say he's completely crazy. Because anyone that knows how to make lots of money and is smart and has everyone all pissed off and he's marketing and he's using all these tools, like what rap artist easily just walks up in TMZ and gets to talk and do all that in TMZ's building? Mm-hmm. Like, you don't really see people get the key like that and get to go inside and do what he's doing. He's just using all these platforms to market himself and to create a larger buzz for him. And I also just think, on the subject, if you guys haven't seen the interview with Charlemagne, that's pretty good. I feel like it gives a better insight, or maybe he could be playing this character or doing whatever. I don't know. Like, I have this conversation with people, like my boy Luda that I work with, and my thing is like, as an artist or someone in the public eye, you can create a facade or be a character all you want and you can be like, this is who I really am. But in your mind, you know damn well that you're just portraying a character, but the whole world or the public eye may see you as this character, but inside that may not be who you are. You're just playing this role and you're winning at that role. You get what I'm saying, Stace, or not?
Yeah, it's just a persona he presents to the masses.
Yeah, exactly.
But behind closed doors, he's another person. It's like an ego that he puts on.
Mm-hmm. That's how I kind of see things.
Alter ego.
Exactly. Like, that's how I see kind of like, I don't want to say every artist or every public figures like that, but I think a lot of these artists, even the ones that claim like the real thuggish ones or the extra pretty boys or the people that are doing like the most, some of them probably don't really technically live like that, but some of them figured out how they're going to win, and how they're going to draw the masses and how they're going to draw the youth into liking them is by, maneuvering a certain way or operating a certain way that is trendy. And if you do what's trendy and the masses flock to that, you may not even truly believe in what you're doing. You just know it works and gets you paid. So you're going to do whatever it takes.
Yeah. I mean, and even like we've seen it like in radio, it's like the on-air personalities sometimes are extra bubbly in a certain way, like that they present themselves over the airwaves, but behind closed doors, it's like they're like all energy low, all depressed and shit.
Yeah, it mental health is a serious issue that I think we shouldn't take lightly, and I think people are afraid to talk about it. And I think people are afraid to truly be themselves. And then what's tough is that I think people use social media to express themselves, and they'll break down mentally on these platforms before actually coming clean are coming to someone close by before they totally have a meltdown. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Instead of telling someone close to you that you're about to meltdown, you resort to doing it on social media, and it causes like, I don't know. If you don't care what the way people look at you, then you shouldn't worry about what people are gonna think. You're just venting. But I think we've turned to venting and turned to everyone pretty much is like an artist or is a entrepreneur or is some sort of public figure. Once we got onto social media, everyone's pretty much expressing themselves, or
Yeah.
everyone feels entitled to wanting to share their life, which is totally fine because some people have it for family purposes, friends purposes. They've moved overseas, they moved far away. They want to be able to share their moments with family and friends, which is totally fine. But then there's the majority of everyone else who just want to say, hey, my life's better than yours, or look what I'm doing that you're not doing, or simply just want to share and grow followers and I guess be some sort of
Online
figure. Yeah,
sensation.
something.
Yeah.
So I just think before you resort to venting out to the world, I think it's okay to talk about it or speak about it or at least share with others so it could help them. But I think holding it in and then just freaking acting out, it's I don't know. A lot of it'll be like a domino effect after that, I think.
And it's like exactly what happened lately with Kanye. It's like he hadn't been on Twitter in a while. And then we started seeing all these Twitter postings that he was sending out. And they all were kind of like, oh, he's back on Twitter. Okay. And now he's saying like certain things that were like, huh? Like he was saying like, get rid of everything. And then, you know, his wife Kim followed him back and she was like joking about it. She's like, everything, even the kids, like, you know. And then it escalated. Next thing you know, he's wearing a Make America Great Again hat, and it's like everyone just lost their minds. So like his own friends unfollowed him, and you know, he was probably just doing it for, I mean, I don't know. Have you heard his answer as to why he did it? I mean, obviously he is a Trump like supporter in a way on the business standpoint.
Where he's coming from on that is he's like on his point of view is like before things get better, it's gonna get worse. And he's like, I think he's kind of trying to also win if you watch the interview, he's like touching on a lot of topics that people may not have known, and I don't know like exactly word for word. It's like an hour and a half long interview. It's really good. I recommend you guys watch that. Then you guys have a better understanding. Then you guys could go ahead and keep judging him at that point. But I don't know what his plans are, what he's doing, or why he's doing it. But I just feel like he's thinking beyond and beyond and beyond, and he's reaching. But that's what people do who are trying to be highly successful or the best, or maybe he's not in the limelight no more, so he's trying to do anything and everything to get back in that spot. I don't know. You know what I mean? So, but that interview will give you a better understanding where he's coming from. But I don't think he agrees with everything the man that runs his country is doing. But I think from a business standpoint, he vibes with that dude's decisions on business things.
I mean, like
there's
he
certain
said,
things that he agrees with, and there's a lot of things that he disagrees with. And Charlamagne just kept telling him, like, I have a good feeling that your mom would not like your decision on siding with Donald Trump. Like, he kept telling him that, and it was like funny because it's like it looked like he was getting pissed off because he's probably looking at him like, how are you gonna tell me what my mom? You know, when you talk about someone's parents, especially their mother, that's like you're stepping on boundaries you shouldn't be going on. And he was just like, well, I like to think different. Or he kept saying that, but you could tell I was getting bothered by it, but he tried not to get like upset.
Yeah.
But Charlamagne was just like so like, you know, being that the way, I don't know, I just feel like this is just me again. Like, so whoever's listening, this is my opinion. And this was something I was listening to on I think NPR radio or something. It was a podcast I was listening to. And they had brought up a good topic. And it was talking about when Trump came into office, all it did, in a sense, is in some form or another, regardless of what anyone says, there's prejudice there towards certain people and the way he talks about certain cultures and
Mm-hmm.
certain people and certain type of Americans.
Mm-hmm.
There is a lot of prejudice in his attitude and in his words, the way he carries himself. And what it did was allow people to feel comfortable being prejudiced. This is things from specialists and people who talk about this, and the power of your words are so important, especially when you're on a huge platform. And that's what they're saying, is that all it did was allow people that were prejudiced to come out of their box and be more openly prejudiced.
Yeah.
And also the people that were semi-prejudiced, it made them feel a little bit more comfortable with themselves. Like, well, at least I'm not that bad. At least I'm not doing stuff like that or talking about them like that. Maybe I may not like a certain group, but at least I'm not that shitty of a person. So that's all it did. It gave comfort to some people, and it also made people be like, hell yeah, that's what I wanted. This is exactly what I wanted. He's saying all the things I wish I could have said. So it's saying all the people that are in the closet about their true feelings towards every minority and culture group in America, and it just allowed them to show their true colors now. And then for the people that have some form or another of prejudice in them, all it did was just make them feel a little bit better about themselves so that they don't feel so guilty feeling the way they do. And most of the time, to me, honestly, I think people are prejudiced or racist because they don't understand the culture and they don't want to give it time to understand. I think too, and they're afraid. I think when you're afraid to learn another culture, when you don't know something or you're like ignorant to something, you become afraid of it or standoffish from it, and you don't want to give it. Most people are afraid to try new things, is what I'm trying to say. Mm-hmm. So if you never really try being in someone else's shoes, or not necessarily that, but if you don't ever try something new, then you'll never know. And that's why you just grow ignorant to things. That's why it's always good to try to challenge your brain or to live a little bit. Explore different things so you kind of see, because everyone's situation's different. But at the end of the day, we're all human.
And I mean, like, the tough thing about, like, him winning that election is that prior to that, when, you know, Obama was in office and everything, we had all these, like, social issues happening during that time. And during the time that we were having that election, you had the shootings that, you know, they were getting brought out to light, and things were starting to be done and put in the media as to, like, try to stop, you know, like the black shootings, whatever happened in Charlotte. As soon as he got into presidency, it kind of felt like all of that didn't matter anymore. Like, because he was voicing that, like, prejudice opinion, and, you know, like, I don't want to say, I'm just going to fucking say it. Like, all the white people that were racist or prejudiced in some kind of way clinged on and to him and were like, yeah, we're going to vote for him. Like, he knows exactly what we're talking about. Like, you know, it kind of made it, like, seem like some kind of hope was lost in trying to actually, like, work on those issues, because now our the president that, you know, we have in office kind of doesn't give a fuck about the minorities. You know, he hasn't really talked about, you know, from what I've heard, he's only talked down on minorities. You know, there's still shootings happening, and he hasn't talked about it.
The thing is, too, is, like, if you're going to talk about a certain group, you're talking about a percentage, like a small percentage of a group, and you're saying that they're rapists, or they, you know, like, for instance, they're coming from Mexico. They're just like, oh, they're taking people's jobs, they're doing this and that. It's always something. Like, I understand, like, America itself is already packed and it's getting harder and things are changing, but at the same time, like, America was built from immigrants. It was built on immigration, you know, like, everyone came from somewhere to get here. Unless you're a native or an indigenous person from North America, you and your ancestors came from somewhere.
Even you white people, you guys are fucking immigrants. You guys came from fucking England and Britain and whatever fucking country. Like, this was Indian native land and Mexican land before you guys conquered California or New Mexico or whatever the fuck, you know? Yeah. So it's like, like, okay,
I don't know.
but
It's
that's
like
kind
it's
of
like
like the points that they were bringing up to Kanye, like in those interviews. I think they mentioned it in the Charlemagne interview, and they mentioned it somewhere else when they're like, we're taken aback at the fact that you're going out here supporting someone that has made it very clear that they don't stand for you, for your color, for your people. So it's like a slap in the face
to the culture.
to the culture
Yeah.
and to our ethnic group. And that's what the TMZ reporter brought up. Like, I'm very disappointed.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
it's like we should be standing. He kind of
You know,
made it a
and
point
you
like
know
we
what's
should be
crazy
standing
is
together.
I think that threw him off because he's probably the first person to just check him. Probably not publicly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm sure people do.
I don't
it
think he
behind
was
closed
expecting that.
Yeah, exactly. I think people, because the way he came, he was well educated and well spoken in how he came at him, as I'm sure he should have been, and he did, and he checked him real quick, and I give him props for that, because it's like everyone's opinionated and you got to respect it, but it's like facts are facts, and if people should speak their mind, and I feel like we're at a place where people are highly sensitive, and that's coming from me being on a level of artistry, or like how he said, what is it, he said he calls it HSP, I think, or something, but it's like highly, or RS, I forgot what he said, but it's like highly sensitive people or whatever, and Kanye was saying that's how he is. I feel, to be honest, I feel like I'm in that boundaries, because I'm like, I create, I do certain things, and it's tough to take someone else's opinion, or what was I gonna say? Not just the opinion, but someone's feedback on certain things you do, and sometimes it could really fuck you up, but it could also encourage you and help you do better. You always want feedback, whether it's positive or negative, and you could see kind of where you can grow or learn from it. And the problem is, I think in our generation right now, we have a hard time dealing with other people's opinions, because everyone's so opinionated or everyone's so outspoken. But the thing is I think we're not doing a lot of research on half the shit we talk about these days. Everyone's just trying to be so
And
informative.
everything
You know
is
what I'm
like
saying?
media based. It's like a lot of like even the younger generation. It's like you believe everything that's on social media.
Yeah, and a lot
or
of-
that's where you get your information from.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It's not always facts.
A lot of the content that we're being fed is also manipulated. It's edited. It's really hard to find facts nowadays. You have to do a lot of legwork, which is totally fine. But the thing is that people aren't willing to do that no more. But so a lot of the stuff that we're being informed on, and it just seems like everything's so watered down, and more or less the masses are okay with it, and then they're just feeding into it, and then the people that are really trying to look for it are looking like nuts, because they're really doing their research and trying to get the facts to everything. But I just feel like we're in a place where I think a lot of people are sensitive, especially people who create and people who are free spirited, and in a sense people that I guess know more, people that are actually awake. I feel like they're sensitive people. Some are really tough people, but I feel like they're sensitive people because they know like they're really alive to and alert to what's going on around them, and they feel like their input matters. And I believe it does matter, especially if you know what's going on, and you know what's going on in your community, you know what's going on in politics. Like I feel like your input matters, and you are an important person because you're trying to add value to what's going on and not be a bigger problem. And I feel like for people like that, it's tough.
Yeah.
Because everyone's so strung out on like, my opinion matters, your opinion ain't shit. And that's the problem. Like, it's so dope to be in this country because we are technically free. And at the end of the day, anyone in this world is free, but it's your mindset. It really is your mindset and where you're at.
You know how so when he went off on the TMZ thing, he did say that slavery was a choice. That was like the big thing that sparked it off.
That was crazy.
And yeah, that was crazy because it's like really like, and I think that's what really triggered that guy to
I just think
check him.
if he's trying to,
But he went back to what you just said, like what did you say, like
the mindset.
Yes,
Like we're technically,
he said we all choose our reality. So that's not the reality that I live in. Slavery was a choice. But it's like there's facts and then there's what you decide to believe in your head.
Yeah, exactly.
But you can't dismiss the fact that slavery was not a choice. It was like your people were being oppressed. You cannot say that when there's hurt and there's, years of still being taken, not being not having justice in this country. Like, he can't say that. Like, he's hurting an entire, his people and a lot of minorities when he says something like that. Why? Because
it's
a lot of people look up to him.
Exactly,
he is a role model, and when he says these things, the younger generation that might not be as educated, are they going to look at what's being taught in the history lessons at school, what's quote unquote boring, or are they going to listen to Kanye and say and go with the trendy shit like slavery was a choice?
No.
You get me?
I really think that there's a lot. The problem is the way the education system set up is they aren't really educating people on the true history, on what really did take place. They'll give you like a piece of it. They'll give you a percentage of it, and they're not really breaking down what really went down in history. And I feel like that's important. People really need to do the history,
like in the public school system.
Yeah, exactly.
Like how when we go to elementary school, middle school, we only touch certain topics when it comes to Mexican American history, certain topics on like Black history. And then, we learn all about whatever happened in this country and how we conquered it. But when you go to college and you take like those history lessons that are specific to your ethnic group or to another ethnic group, you learn a lot of shit. Because I took Chicano studies and I was all like, whoa, like our people were really powerful. Like, we went through a lot of shit too in this country that's similar to also what Black people went through. Maybe not as intense as they did, but we do have a lot of similarities. That's why, when I, sometimes when there's like, when
a lot of the protesting and a lot of the marching and a lot of the gathering and a lot of the coming together, that has a lot to do and almost everything to do with MLK and what he did. Mm-hmm. And that's what people fail to realize sometimes, because some people are out there causing havoc and don't realize it. And I'm talking about from every walk of life. But those protests and those walks, like, where do you think it originated from? You know what I'm saying? Like, people are doing that now, and people are striking, and people are standing up for what they believe in. But where do you think that all originated from? You know what I'm saying? Like, it took a lot of sacrifice, and it took a lot of people to come together and to lay the foundation for that stuff. And it still needs a lot of work because we're still seeing it in America. There still isn't an equality. It's still a lot of things that could be worked on, and there's still a lot of injustice, which we can't, I don't know if it'll ever be cool. There's nothing in the world that it's going to ever be perfect, but it needs a lot of work. And I think that it could get better, but who knows, really, though? Like, who really knows? Like, we don't know the answers. But all I know is that it could definitely get better. And we went definitely left field with this, but I think it was a good topic. But the thing is, it's just like...
Bring it back.
No, but like the whole mental health is serious. And I feel like a lot of us deal with that, like issues with that. And it's because it's due to probably the way you view yourself, the way you view yourself in public, and where you feel you're at, like socially, where you feel like you're at in the social world, and where you feel like you should be seated at. Like, it could be financial wise, it can be position wise in life or society, and I feel like that has a lot to do with our ego and has a lot to do with how we feel about ourselves. Not only that, but issues we've gone through as children from the beginning till where we're at now as adults, experiences, relationships, any type of trauma. The problem is there's a lot of people with PTSD, and when you hear that, people just think that there's soldiers that are affected from it. And there are a lot of soldiers that are affected from it, but it's not just soldiers. It could be women, it could be men, it could be children, from seeing something very traumatic from something that happened in their home, something that happened to them personally, or some type of, they've been a victim to something. And there's a lot of people who suffer from that, and they grow up and they may not think that's why they have anxiety. They may not think like why there's all these issues, but there's a lot of issues that stem from that. And then so you're dealing with a whole bunch of people out here in the world who've dealt with some sort of trauma. I'm not saying everybody, but I'm saying there's a good handful of people who dealt with some sort of illness or issue that caused them to be or feel the way they feel. So
or insecurity.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
so.
and just to bring it back to what we originally had planned for this episode, it's like we idolize these celebrities a lot of the time, and you know, everyone's just looking on Instagram and what are they wearing, what do they got, how can I, you know, find something similar to that, they must have such a great life.
And mind you, we do this too. Like we're on, like, I don't know about Stace, but I'm not gonna lie, like I'm addicted to my phone, bro, and I'm upset with myself
24/7
I'm addicted to my phone, and it's like, it's sad, and I'm little by little starting to just like let that shit go. Like unless it's like posting new music or like obviously our podcasts or trying to keep everyone up to date, or I'll share a picture of the fam type stuff, I'm really trying to like escape from
that shit
phone,
could make
dude.
you sick,
yeah,
man.
like I'm really just trying to escape from the social media and the phone, dude. Like I want to grow up and build a nice platform and obviously use it for the intent of good content and actually promoting awareness on what we feel like, this is our opinion, what we feel like we would like to share to the world. But I do want to like learn to just leave this phone alone, like straight up. Like I'm on social media heavy. I listen to music like crazy, but I can go a couple days without it or so. But just the whole like we're gonna grow up with. I remember well, you remember Chris? He worked with us at K-Day for a bit.
No.
No.
Oh, Christian.
Yeah. So he went to school. I don't want to sound dumb, but for PT, I think it's physical therapy, right?
Yeah.
And he just said like people are now having it, but eventually in the future, like people are having problems with their neck and their back because we're always looking down at our phones. Like that's gonna be a major problem. Like our generation, when we get old, people are gonna have back and neck problems because you're always looking down at your phone. And it's like, it's
that shit
real.
Makes sense.
It's real. Like this shit's happening now. Kids are, but it's like, I'm really just trying to like stay away from the phone. Like if it's emails, like, I don't know. I just think we need to learn how to like have time segments when you check your emails and when you check your social media, and then the rest of the day, leave that shit alone. Go do something outside, chill with your family, like do shit that's important to you for real. Like that's where I'm at right now, and I'm trying to gain that. And like at the same time, like I work 2 jobs. Stace is always running around. Like we got a lot of stuff going on, but technically there's some part in your life or some time of the day or some time in the week or something that you can find that time for what you're really trying to do. You know what I mean? And that's the whole goal. And what we were like trying to touch on is like, don't believe the hype. We're idolizing so many people that, for one, and it's like not even religious, but I just don't think that anyone should idolize anybody. And I would love to be a huge star, recording artist, and
like you're
or in radio. And I'm in myself. Like I would love to be on a large platform where I'm highly respected and I'm able to make a living off this. But I would hope people don't idolize me like a god, and I wouldn't want to idolize others. And we do look up to people like that. We look up to people that are so legendary, and we do idolize athletes, entertainers, performers. We idolize social media people. You know what I'm saying? Like, or just
we see them as like perfect. At the end of the day, they're still human. They still go through the same mental breakdown, stress, you name it, relationship problems as we freaking do. But the only difference is that we're on the outside looking in, and everything seems perfect.
Yeah, and at the same time too, some of these people are really going through it. You just do not see it. And the thing, that's why like I like how Stace's saying like, don't believe the hype. It's true, because some people really like are having some issues, but you wouldn't tell, and you would think, man, like what I do just to have that spot. But really, it comes with to
It
be in
comes with
some
a
of
price.
oh yeah, to be in some of these people's positions comes with a lot of problems that you have to mentally, because there's some people that can deal with it very well, and then there's some people that just they totally fall and fold under pressure. So it's like at the end of the day, it's really like how you view it and how you handle these things. Like you got to just prepare mentally for life and all this stuff. But the whole like idolizing people, and then that sometimes these people aren't who they say they are. You know what I'm saying? Like
And you
we
hold
can.
you hold
Oh,
them to such a great standard, like
what we were gonna talk about was like the Nas.
the Nas and Khalees thing.
Yeah, like
So I don't know if you guys have seen the interview that Khalees recently did, but it was on the like all the hip hop news and stuff that Khalees spoke her truth and on her separation with Nas, and she had mentioned that he used to physically abuse her. Now she didn't put him down in the interview, which I think was really cool, because she was like, "Hey, I was trying to hold on to my marriage. I loved him. You know, we were both young. We used to get fucked up. We used to drink and party together. And next thing you know, we would get
Yeah,
into
she's-
these fights. And you know, I'm not a girl that's gonna sit there and take it. I would punch him back, or I'd hit back too. You know, I'm a Harlem girl, and next thing you know, she'd have bruises or a black eye, whatever. And I guess this went on for a few years from their marriage. And then next thing you know, obviously we knew that they got a divorce, and they kept it real low. Like she never mentioned why they got a divorce. She was pregnant when they got a divorce by him, and he never really cleared up why they got a divorce. And you know, they kept it between them, so it was always a mystery up until now. And they've been divorced for quite a few years. And you know, she's moved on with her life. I believe she is married with somebody else. And you know, from the storytelling point that we know Nas to be, we've always viewed him as kind of like a righteous MC, and someone who's very like conscious and who's very like a straightforward type of man. This is the idea we have of Nas through his music. He's always kept that mystery about his private life.
yeah.
So when this came out, I think a lot of the fans and we were like, "What?" Like,
Well, obviously,
Nas-
some people were probably gonna disagree or try to bash her, and then some people too probably change their perspective on how they see him. But at the end of the day, that this is one of those things too, because then again, we don't know the true story. That if things were changed or said differently or whatever, but a lot of what she says sounds believable, and she's never came out about it before, so it's like.
So it's like,
she's
why
not
now?
trying to, and
What are
she's doing her own thing. So it's like I don't think she's trying to aim or angle something in her position. And at the same time too, though, it's like we look at Nas a certain way too. But at the end of the day, it's like this: we're human. We have errors. We have mistakes. We have problems. Like just because you know the message.
She did mention that he had like a drinking problem, you know, that he would like drink and just black out, and you know, like they would both party together.
Yeah, and
like I said, I mean, like I don't think that interview, I don't think she did it out of to gain something from it. I think she just wanted to speak out, and we're at a moment where there's all this female empowerment thing going, and women are speaking their truth, and I think she wanted to probably open up and be like, you know, you may not be the only one going through shit like this. Like even the Beyonce and Jay-Z story, how many times do we know that he cheated on her, but she wanted to save her marriage? Like she was really fighting for their love, and they both kind of did, and he had some underlying issues in that interview he recently did. Like he was like, you know, my childhood issues
That's what I'm saying is like the thing is that we put all these people on pedestals, and that, not only just that, but we set high standards. Like, oh, they're the perfect couple, or oh, he's the perfect person that has a message. Or there's come on, how many times we hear about it? Like religious people doing bad things, or you hear about a pastor doing something he shouldn't be doing, or this person, an evangelist, or a spokesperson, or someone in Congress. Like these are human beings. They make errors. Am I saying it's okay? No, it's not okay. But people make mistakes, and I'm not saying, oh, take him back, take her back if she's made a really foul mistake in a relationship. I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is,
Like, don't
people,
be brainwashed from what you guys see.
I think we set our standards so high because we watch these movies and what the media sells to you and what the American dream was 40, 50, 60 years ago. And they want to paint this picture like it's supposed to work like that. You know, you do this step, you do that step. And then next thing you know it, everything's freaking perfect. You don't have no issues. Everything's going to be peachy keen. It doesn't work like that. Not two people are alike. Everyone's so different that sometimes you got good days, sometimes you got bad days, but you're not going to be on the same vibrations every single day. Everyone has their own
We're all individual, people.
So that's all I'm saying is, like, we have such a hard time coming to grips with that, I think. Or we want people to be like, we try to train people, like, you know, in the relationship or whatever, but you can't. It's like, you got to lay down the law when you first get involved with relations or at a job or workplace. Like, people are gonna always test you. And the thing is don't sell yourself short and don't be taken advantage of, but also don't be setting people on pedestals or having set standards for yourself, but don't set some almost impossible standards and you just have to have the best of the best of the best, because people have flaws. People naturally just have flaws and they could work on them. That's a part of the process of life. People could always work on it, but don't set yourself up for failure and don't be putting these people up there like they're God. You know what I mean? Like, no matter what they tell you, like, everyone in my eyes, like, is God. You know what I mean? Like, we're all we're in relations to God. We all have that in us, but you yourself are not a God. You know what I mean? Don't be out here being a false prophet. But I don't know. It's just, this stuff is crazy, but mental health is serious, and I think, and that's for music, that's for everybody. So if you feel like you have issues, you shouldn't be afraid to speak up on it. You know what I mean?
No, because everyone goes through it. There's many times when I've came to Anthony, dude, and I'd be like, yo, like, I'm out of it. I'm feeling this type of way. These type of thoughts are going through my head. And he's, you know, he's like been there and been like, hey, I felt that way too. And
it's crazy because it's like, she's talking to me, right? And I'll literally have the gun to my head. Like, this is how crazy she's making me. No, I'm just playing. But nah, it's like,
he's like, I'm not going to kill myself today because you need someone to vent to tomorrow.
No, but life is real, bro. Problems are real. And I just think life's too short to be, like, bottling up that energy. And then, two, we use a lot of vices to vent. Some people use, like, social media. Some people use narcotics. Some people use weed to vent. Which sometimes they might cool you off, but sometimes you just be high and stressing about the same shit. Or sometimes people use alcohol and see.
And that's a lot of celebrities.
That's what Khalees was talking about, Nas, with the whole alcohol thing, and he would play these things in his head, and maybe it was insecurities, and it's like, I think we all go through that, and I just think, there's a majority of men who suffer from that, like insecureness, and you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't knock a dude for that, but it's like, you got to learn to have confidence in yourself. You got to learn to feel comfortable in your skin, that if you have a beautiful woman, you have to accept the fact that she's going to get attention regardless or not, but you can't get upset all the time. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. And I don't know. I just feel like with alcohol and then a problem past, like, I'm not gonna lie, I've dealt with that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think drinking is the greatest thing for me. Having a good time and having some drinks, getting a little wasted and tipsy every now and then is cool, but excessively drinking and being in a bad environment or a bad mindset, oh yeah, alcohol is not my best friend. And I don't get violent or nothing. I just think it's a depressant. Like, I just think it puts you in a dark place if you're already there. So that's why I'm just saying, like, I'm not perfect, but I just think alcohol, when you're functioning and when you're having a good time, it's totally cool when it's the right occasion, or every now and then you want to just unwind. But if you're mentally not stable and not in a good place, and then you're adding these vices to it, oh yeah, it's a bad mixture. It's a bad cocktail for sure. So,
but even like, you know, a lot of the new rappers nowadays, they're kind of speaking up on that topic. Like Logic, he had that like song about suicide, like and then your boy too, what's his name, Joyner Lucas.
Yeah.
Like it's just like
It's
it's something that everyone, I think a lot of people go through. The fact that not a lot of us, I would hope that anyone going through that has somebody who they trust that they can speak to. But not everyone does, or not everyone feels comfortable saying like, hey, I'm feeling this way, or because we're so stuck on trying to prove to the world that we got it all under control.
Yeah, not only that though, but I feel like being that we're minorities, like, are just going like, I think if you
there's been times, bro.
Being young, like if you told someone you're going to like,
when I've been like down and out, and my mom would be like, levántate de la cama, like what do you got to be depressed for? You know what I'm saying? Like,
get up,
and I'm just like, stop laying in bed, get up, do something. But it's just like, Mom, like I'm going through some shit right now. You need to just let me freaking be. But it's like a lot of minorities, we don't talk about mental health.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's like you gotta be mentally
like, get
tough.
Up and go.
Yeah,
go.
You gotta
keep moving.
You gotta be mentally tough, and you're a punk or a bitch if you're gonna act like that, pretty much. But it's like people go through some real issues, and I'm saying like these obviously are probably first world problems that we're having, but
then
if
you're
in your mind, if you're in your mind so much, it could really mess you up though. Straight up.
But then you see like how a lot of our minorities have like alcohol issues. We always have that drunk uncle.
Yeah,
that's how they deal with it.
No, real talk though. So there is history, like meaning years and decades of issues within our family and within our family tree and circles within the minority communities. Like you see, people aren't going to seek help, but they're finding help in their vices, which could lead to financial problems, which can lead to drug abuse, what leads to a whole list of things, including domestic violence and stuff like that. And that happens in a lot of minority homes. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like if there's issues, you should just not be afraid to speak up about it and understand that you're not meant to be perfect. No one's meant to be perfect. And it took me a long time to start realizing that. Like I was making myself sick over this music shit, like bad. Mm-hmm. And it was like coming to not an end, but it was coming to a part where I was like
overthinking shit.
Hell yeah. And I was just like, this shit was bad, bro. Like I was like breaking down, like, but I'm at a point now where it's like I'm at my own pace. Like, what in the hell am I doing trying to compete with all these people? You know what I'm saying? Like
you're not here to prove anything to anyone. You're here to prove something to yourself and to do obviously what you love and fulfill that space for yourself at the end of the day. If it comes with the approval of other people, if it comes with the praise of other people, cool. But it's, the way that I see it, you're doing it for the right reason, and you're not doing it for the likes, the clicks. You're doing it because it's something that you love, and when it's always driven in that motive, and it's not about like the money, and it's not about all of the other things, you'll be all right.
And don't get me wrong, sometimes you may get caught up in that. Assuming that's where you need to be, or that's what would make you feel like solidified, or you feel like that's where you need to be at. But then you got to snap yourself back into why you really were pursuing this, or why this really is more than just what
paycheck.
people exactly, or more than just a hobby, or more than it's a lifestyle at the end of the day. So you got to do whatever you got to do to make ends meet. But if that's really what you're about and what you live, you got to be true to that. And that's what I feel. And I'm grateful that I am where I'm at. You could ask me in 10 years how I feel about what I'm talking about now. I don't know where I'll be at. And hopefully I'm not in a bitter mind state or wherever I'm at. But right now at 26, I can still say that I'm very optimistic for the future, no matter where I end up. Not only that, though, but I'm just optimistic towards everything. Like the way I view things, like there's so many people out here hustling, but doing shady things. And it's like, I try to ask myself, like, I can't do it. I can't just do stuff that's a quick come up. I can't burn people. It's just not in me to do that.
Yeah, I feel you on that. Like, which, I mean, not to get too much into it, but even like when we were, well, you're still in radio, but like when I was in radio, that's why a lot of like the way like people maneuvered, like I don't want to speak down on it because I'm sure a lot of, there's people that do it with integrity, but it was just like, at that point in my life, it was kind of like, am I willing to sacrifice and play this game?
Yeah.
And it was just like, it's like too much stress that I'm
It's
not
like-
doing it for the fame. I'm doing it because I
You
I
fell in
love
lo- you
music.
have passion for
I
it.
have passion for, the entertainment business. But at the end of the day, it's like, I don't know where life's going to take me. So I don't know how this is going to pan out. But at the moment, I am content and I am being fulfilled with us doing this podcast and me just having a voice here in my on my own little platform,
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
necessarily have to deal with the stress and the competition and the fighting for your position
And it's
that
not-
all of that
And
comes
my
with.
thing is like, I don't think that you're afraid to get your hands dirty and have to do that to earn your keep. But I just feel like you don't need to put yourself through that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like physically and mentally, you don't need to be involved in that shit. Because at the end of the day, it really boils down to politics these days. Whose ass you're kissing, politicking, and hard work does have a lot to play with it. Like, a lot in this game. Hard work does pay off. But at
a
the
lot of
same
it is
time,
relationships.
you're dealing with a lot of egos and how you maneuver and how you finesse things. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's a hustle. Anything's a hustle. I'll never knock a hustler, but it's how you go about the business. How are you hustling? How are you maneuvering? At the end of the day is what is really key about it. And that's what separates you from everybody else. You know what I'm saying? So let's get into...
Have you... No.
Oh, yeah.
Wait,
Go ahead.
do you
Cut me
want
off.
to
I'm
get
trying to
into
say,
new
let's go.
music
Go
or
ahead.
what?
Go.
Have
dude.
you ever met like an artist that, you maybe quote unquote looked up to and you were just like disappointed? And this goes back to like us having like certain people at a pedestal. You know?
I don't know. I'm trying to think. Like, I don't know. I've only met a handful of artists. Like, and I can't think of really meeting someone I really wanted to meet. So I don't know. But I've only heard through rumors and stuff like that some of these people aren't really who you think they are. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, again, they're human. And they've been doing this shit for years. So I'm saying, if there's like a fresh off the press artist and they're already an asshole, like, you need to calm it down. That cockiness, or you feeling like you're being bombarded with paparazzi and all this, you asked for that. This is what happens when we chase that. You know what I'm saying? But if you've been a veteran and you've been in the game like 30 years and you just get tired of dealing with people and people always wanting something, I don't know. It's crazy.
It like comes with the territory.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, it's really tough to say. But, when I met Snoop, he's cool as fuck. Like, he's really chill and cool. What everybody thinks, that's him. You know, he really comes off with how he seems on social media and television. He's just chill, cool, and he likes to have a good time. And he's super
Shout out
talkative.
to the weed.
Yeah, he's really...
He's like, I ain't got time for all this nonsense. Like, I'm mellowed out 24/7.
I'm sure he has his days, but he's about his business. So if you ain't talking nothing worth, everyone has their days. Sometimes they want to vibe out and chill, and sometimes they're just about business. But he was really cool to meet. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's really seems like he's the person, the way he carries himself. He's a good dude, and he's down to earth, and he's about his family and his money.
Yeah, I remember. This was like probably like in 2010, 2011, and I was it was either Pay Dues or Rock the Bells, and I was really listening to Blue and Exile heavy. And LRG had a meet and greet with Blue and Exile. So during that time, I was using this like the Fly song, the Song of Liberation by Blue, and everything he was saying was just like speaking to me, and I would cry to that song. It would just like, it would help me through whatever the hell I was going through at the moment. So I'm pretty sure I've told you this story. And
Nah, tell me.
when I got to, to the point of like, I went up to Blue Like, it was my turn to, like, meet and greet him. And I was all like, hey, like, I remember I was pouring out my little heart to him. And I was like, that song really helps me out a lot. And I just want to thank you, for writing something like that. And you could tell he was high as fuck, but he was like, oh, word. And then he just wanted to sign the shit and, like, get me going. And then Exile stepped in.
I have a story about that. Yeah, he's
Exile
more.
peeped that.
Yeah.
Exile told me, he's all like, he like told me to come over. He's all like, I want to thank you for listening, and thank you for being a fan. And I wanted to hear that from Blue, like, but Blue was like strung out, whatever he was on, and my heart got so broken. I was all like, oh my god, he was rude as fuck.
If Blue is listening, hey bro, I got a lot of love for you. You are a great artist. Blue and Exile, you guys are kind of like the spark of my beginning. My beginning in the late 2009, 2010. I was listening to a lot of that. I got inspired by a lot of that. And I ain't gonna lie, it was at one of the Rock the Bells, I believe, 2011 maybe, or no, 2011 or 2010. It was one of the Rock the Bells, but it was at the Glen Helen Amphitheater. I didn't go up, but my homie David, he used to work at UPS. Shout out to him for doing it for me. He had a card and a CD. And this is when I was pushing my mixtapes. I was handing out mixtapes at Rock the Bells. I was on the foot grind. I wasn't worried about the social platforms like that then. And he went up to a booth that he was doing a meet and greet. Obviously, it's his meet and greet, but it wasn't super intensely packed. There was quite a few people, but my buddy David went up there and he straight told him, he's like, I don't want that shit. Like, he's like, hey, my boy is just like, he's really interested if you took a listen to his stuff and this and that, and, just real quick. And he's like, check it out. He's like, I don't want that shit. But Exile took it. Exile was like, I'll take it. And thanks, man. And then that same day I ran into Fashawn too. I gave Fashawn my card and my music, but I'm sure it got tossed. You know what I mean? Like, it's typical. You know what I'm saying? Like, artists helping other artists.
Shout out to Exile though, because he's really sweet. Like,
but like I said though, ain't no pun intended. No, ain't no.
No, we love you, Blue. You're a very talented man.
But I get it. You know what I'm saying? I get it. No, I'm just kidding. But and you broke Stace's heart.
You did. You broke the 18-year-old me's heart, or 17-year-old. I don't even fucking remember. I don't even know how old I am now.
That's funny that you mentioned that, and then I'm like, who have I met or ran across? Like, I actually got to open up for him one time in Riverside, but that's for another time. But that was tight,
bro. But later on, it's like there was all these like news where he would like cancel shows, or he would be like really drunk on stage, that he would not give a quality performance. And like a lot of the underground hip hop community really fucks with him, like especially that Below the Heavens album. That's a classic. That was album, like, it had a big impact within hip hop, and he, there was rumors that he was on some stuff, and it just goes back to like, we look at these artists because of the Below the Heavens album was very inspiring, and what he was saying was obviously speaking to us for whatever we were going through. And when you see the artists that you're listening to go through some shit or not behave in a way,
well, just the way we would like them to.
Yeah, that we would have an idea, because through their music, that's the way that
they're painting a masterpiece, a beautiful picture, and then you just picture them to be a certain way, which it's not their fault. They're not entitled to have to be a certain way how you want them. It's just, you may be a good, kind, loving person that's bubbly and loves to be talkative, and something about that person inspired you or sparked something, and you like to share that with them, and then you get the vibe like, oh, all right, cool. I'll be like, what the fuck? But it's like a part of this whole thing though, like me being an artist, like I've been dissed so many times, like, and it's embarrassing, bro, but it's like, I chose this. I chose to like put myself out there like that, where I've been like, not humiliated, but I've been like dissed by artists that I wish that, like, not wish, but I looked up to. I idolized. And it's like, oh, they kind of just like push you to the side, but it's the name of the game. You get involved in it, and like I said, like I always try to keep my relations And the way I approach people and the way that I communicate with people on a mutual level, whether they feel that way about me or not, I try to keep it 100 and keep it cool at all times. Because the way I look at life, or I could be wrong, but I feel like I will run into that person again, maybe twice or 3 times. And it happened. It has happened that I've ran into different artists or different people in this business a number of times, that I've always tried to keep it respectful and keep it mutual, because you just never know. Like in Scooby used to tell us all the time, shout out to Scooby, he would always say, you never know where you're going to end up in a year. And that's something that I always try to live by, is like a year is a long time. To some, maybe not, but a year you have plenty of time to go. But in a year, things could flip the script so fast, and you may need someone you didn't think you needed, or someone may need you that probably didn't think they needed you. You just don't know how drastic and how quick things could change. Like, it's crazy. So it's just, I don't know. I'm not saying be humble and the whole spiel about do this and do that. I'm not here to preach to you. I'm just saying you just really don't know. So you should just, I don't know, work on communication skills, and people should really learn to just be a little bit more kind.
You know
it
what I was?
It don't pay to do that.
I was taken aback when we did the rap show concert, and DMX came through, and he did like a little circle of prayer, and he was praying before his performance. Everyone was like crowded around him praying. He was like right before hitting the stage, and I was like, wow, like this is a really spiritual man. Like, you know, this was the first time me ever seeing DMX, you know. And I was like, what a beautiful freaking moment. And then next thing you know, they, towards the end of the show, they cut off his mic, and he just completely flips out. He's like, fuck this. Like, you know, and I was like, whoa, we just had like a really beautiful spiritual praying moment. And now you're like hella pissed off. Like, so.
He was in the zone. You're fucking up his vibe. Shit.
But yeah. All right, moving on.
Yeah, it's just like, hey, everybody ain't who they say they are, and just don't. I think what we need to do is not take things personal. It's nothing personal. And just next time, I hope you're nicer, because we want to keep supporting. To all those people that fucking are assholes. No, I'm just kidding. Nah, but straight up, it's just, it doesn't cost to be
no Vaseline.
Humble. It doesn't cost to be humble. It doesn't cost to be respectful. It doesn't cost to learn. You can teach yourself a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could use a lot of past experiences or a lot of things that I've seen growing up and make it a crutch why I can't be a certain way. But I'm eager and willing to learn every day on how to change and become better every day. And it doesn't cost to do that. So, going to our next segment, let's play some new music. I'll get into the first one. Is that cool? Mm-hmm. All right, this first song is from an artist out of the Inland Empire. He goes by the name of Peso, and the song's called Player Shit. Shout out to Mars for the reference. Mars Snare, check it out. Again, this is Peso, and the song's called Player Shit.
Peso! No. Yeah. Yeah, this that play shit. This that peso shit. Out the basement shit. I won't take no shit. They see crazy thick. Make her pay for this. I need like 8 of them. Gonna be like a stadium. Yeah. Play shit. This that peso shit. I'm out the basement shit. I won't take no shit. They see crazy thick. I make her pay for it. I need like 8 of them. Gonna be like a stadium. Pay your dues, keep it bull, keep it true, keep it you. A lot of niggas take advantage when they know that you the truth. I had to do it on my own. Young boys at the crossover, that's AI in the zone. Top one in my zone. I can't fuck with fakes. I can't fuck with the jakes. I still got that case. I'm rubbing off of the paint. All of my niggas with Liddy, I promise the city they really gon' know. I did not do the Da Vinci, I'd rather be dripping from niggas I know. Just all in the night, must be nice. Rockin' sprucey, they might doozy. I might fuck around, I might risk. Can't be wasting my time playing with no bitch. This that play shit. This that peso shit. This she crazy thick. Make them pay for this. I need like 8 of them. Going big like a stadium. Be a quarter Canadian. This that play shit. This that peso shit. Yeah, nigga lit. Yeah, nigga lit. Pay attention to the signs. I'm seeing the way that you is. When you a little with me, friends. You should be all in your pants out and show me really what you care about. You should press about your whereabouts, cause I was probably in the bitch house. I was probably in the bitch mouth. Can't be mad, had switch now. I'm still thugging it with my gang. Many days, we ain't know just how to go get that cake. Cause them days ain't really changed. And some niggas show their colors. Got me mad about my seller. How the fuck I chose to trust you? Y'all was supposed to be with others, but y'all let me through the struggle. See, I'm bragging now, and you came back around. Little bitches, fuck you, hold it back around. So get to acting now, he get to bustin', flip the jacket down. I hit the booth, and nigga get to running, yeah. This that player shit. This that peso shit. Yeah, she crazy thick. Make them pay for this. I need like 8 of them. Going big like a stadium. Bitch, a quarter Canadian. This that player shit. This that peso shit. Out the basement shit. I won't take no shit. Yeah, she crazy thick. Make her pay for this. I need like 8 of them. Going big like a stadium. Yeah. This that player shit. This that peso shit. Out the basement shit. I won't take no shit. Yeah, she crazy thick. I make her pay for it. I need like 8 of them. Gonna be like a stadium, yeah. I might fuck around, I might risk.
Yeah.
Can I be wasting my time playing with no bitch? Can I be wasting my time playing with no bitch? Can I be wasting my time playing with no bitch?
Yeah. Again, that is Peso. You guys can follow him on social media at YNEPESO. And he has his music on Soundcloud. He just dropped a new EP called The EP. So make sure you check him out. Stace, who are you going to bring up next?
I got somebody who I just ran across on SoundCloud, and she goes by Mona Lisa, and she's from Detroit. And you guys can go ahead and follow her at the Mona Lisa on Instagram. That's the MONALYSE. And the song that I chose is FWA, featuring Black Gold.
Let's go.
I think you like it when he pissing me off. Get me all excited just to kiss on me soft. I think you like it when he fuck on my vibe. Temper on 100, then he kiss on my thighs. I think you like it when he fuck up my hair. Told that nigga I ain't Becky, fuck you thought over here. He like it when he fuck me while I'm mad. I like it cause I know we understand. I like it when I put in my place. Cuss the nigga out then tell him get the fuck out my face. Then he tell me what you say, then put his hands on my waist. Then I look him in his eyes, then I can tell that I'm safe. He said I gotta fix my fucking attitude. Then I fuck him with an attitude. I got an attitude. I think I got a fucking attitude.
You lucky I love you. You so lucky because you are really getting on my nerves. This the last time I'm do this. Not to do this. Why? You don't try to make me feel like I'm hurt. You making me this way. When I get an attitude, it's a problem. But when you get an attitude, it's a double standard around this bitch. No, don't touch me. Not fall back. I am not the one.
Come here. I think he like it when he making me weak. Bet I bicker with my nigga, he gon' want this physique. Puddle dripping on the mattress, I might put him to sleep. Told him ain't nobody else gon' give you loving like me. I think he like it when he get me on hype. When I get to acting crazy, I get crazier pipe. When emotions get to flying, it's a crazier flight. When you not supposed to have it, bet you saving a slice. I'm like, fuck what all you talking about? He say you should be in shape the way you running your mouth. I'm like, you should be a drain the way you running me out. Then he took me by the arm and shut me up on the couch. He said I gotta fix my fucking attitude. Then I fuck him with an attitude. I got an attitude. I think I got a fucking attitude. You gotta side me. Then I fuck him with an attitude. You gotta side me.
Hey, that was the Mona Lisa. You can follow her on Instagram at the MONALYSE.
Yeah. So let's get into one more song, actually. This is from 1,000 Words, and the song's called OGs. So check it out, 1,000 Words, OGs.
Buying Wolf tickets. Thanks for tuning in.
This is Black Lagoon. Mic check. I see y'all fake it and make it riding a slow lane, a short bus, dick riding anyone with a name. You know them, you know that type, you know that right. Where they frauds for applause when they hold that mic. Come on. See me, I figure I stay OG. Most importantly, what we switching the team like Kobe. Most approaching me got no business, now listen closely. I was the kid that was laughed at with the backpack for dreaming it. Even if it was something they wanted and I had it times 400, I'm 100 miles and running. You running miles for nothing. You play the strings like puppets. I play the strings. It brings, it seems the end is coming. See, I've been conscious in my unconsciousness. I woke the fuck up and had to broadcast this. Bombs and alarms, y'all gotta hear my shit. Earthquakes and shakes, y'all gotta feel my shit. These the last dollars I got, my clothes fitting loose. Skipped a few meals to save up for the booth. Chap 3, I know that it's the same for you too. The pain we push through, the pain that we view. So in it for fame, man, ain't into the gang bang or limited change till it's richer to change things. No limited tank game at your selling it low range through the holes in your propane cause it gassed up with no names. You basic, like watching the same movie 1,000 times. Scarface, you want something new? Listen 1,000 rounds. Third world, si lo quieres en español, try me. Puto pendejo, te dejo bien lejos, can't find him. I'm in it from broke beginners, from his no end it. I'm not pretending to be dependent on trends that send it. Nothing transcendent, I'm penning a legend again and again. You can shoot me, absolutely. The only way you can boot me losing it on the loose. If you smoking too many Lucy's. That was murder. He's a pookie, this groupie's dookie. Mistook me because I two-piece. Get a two-piece and a two-piece and a loose team no matter who sees. So I'm on limited talk, start walking that walk. These line ass marks end up lying and chalk. Can't do shit to a line when all you do is bark. I'm on limited talk, start walking that walk. These line ass marks end up lying and chalk. Can't do shit to a line when all you do is bark.
Yeah. That was 1,000 words. Buying Wolf tickets out now. You guys can check them out on Instagram at 1-000. So that's the number 1 TRIPLE 0 ZERO. Yeah. So what's up? Does that wrap it up, Stace?
Let me just speak on this, guys. Nicki Minaj and Cardi fans, the coast is clear. We've all seen the picture at the Met Gala. Cardi B recently went on the Howard Stern show, I believe, and she put she said, I never was feuding with anyone. There was a misunderstanding. I think she felt some type of way about something. I definitely felt some type of way about something. I didn't ever want to talk about it in public because I felt like we are going to see each other again and we are going to talk about it. And then she said, I spoke to her at the Met Gala about it, and it was like, see, it was something that just had to be talked about. There was an issue, and the issue was something that the press didn't know because I don't like talking. I'm not going to talk about it, but I really felt a certain type of way. My feelings were hurt. That's why I keep to myself. That's why I don't fuck with nobody.
You women and your drama.
Yeah, so I can go back to listening to Chun-Li. As soon as I saw that picture, I gave Chun-Li some stream plays.
Hey, just like you were clowning me.
And I threw the buns
just
on.
Like you were clowning me, just like because I had the ponytail last week. I'm gonna start calling you Chun-Thi. You're like the Chun-Thi Chun-Li.
He's calling me a Chun-Thi instead of Chun-Li. Whatever, Anthony.
No pun intended. It's all love.
Shout out to everyone listening to the podcast.
Yeah.
My crew at B-Dubs made me so proud because they actually were like speaking about like our last topic, and I was like, oh my god, you guys are listening.
Now I'm gonna pull up like, hey yo, it's the celebrity. I'm Stace's friend. Hook me up with all the wings and all the beer on tap.
So shout out to Cisco, Ralphie, Madi, Akira, and everyone else who has tuned in. And I want to make sure everyone subscribes and listens to our podcast.
And shout out to everyone that's been supporting us since day one. Again, this is episode 6. We're doing our best we can to stay consistent. We're trying to give you guys what we feel and our opinion on certain topics, and we just enjoy talking and being able to share it on our platform, something that we own and that we'd like to share to the world. Again, if you would like to participate in getting your music played on our podcast, all you got to do is email your bio, an MP3 preferably, and all your social media plugs so we can let the world know how to find you and how to get your music at allincheckpodcast@gmail.com. And then you can also check out our website, allincheckpodcast.com. And also, if you would like to be sponsored on our episode or be sponsored on our websites or anything like that, you guys can reach out. We do take donations or a fee. It's up to you guys what you guys would like to do. We appreciate everybody reaching out. We appreciate everybody subscribing, liking, and commenting. Please share it and tell people about us. We really do appreciate it. Again, you guys can reach out to us at allincheckpodcast.com or allincheckpodcast@gmail. We do respond very quickly if you guys reach out to us. All right. Thank you guys very much. I'm ARS.
And I'm StaceFresh.
We're signing out. This is the All in Check podcast. Peace.
Peace.